Hello, this is Gio, and here we have a water heater. Now this video is part of a number of videos I'm going to do with. I'm going to actually be building a laundry room in this attic space, and the first step is just to move this water heater, because if you see this little blue tape right here, that's going to be a wall. It's going to come up here and over like that, and so I'm going to be moving the water heater about 9 inches to the right, and probably secured. Right now it's secured to this back wall. I'm going to be securing it to the new wall. And a couple of things I'm going to have to do is there's a couple of drains right here, and since I'm going to be moving it this way, I'm going to have to disconnect these drains and reconfigure them. Also, the plumbing, the hot and cold pipes are kind of in the wrong place. Here's some piping that will prevent me from moving it this way, and also this piping as well is kind of in the middle of the wall. This piping's in the middle of the wall, although I'm going to kind of turn this piping eventually into this wall. And there you have it. So let's just get started with disconnecting this water heater. So the first step is just to come down in the breaker box, open her up. Here's the breakers for, it says H2O heat, so water heater, and I'm just going to turn this off. So the power should be off to the water heater. So with the power off, I'm just going to come up here. This is the actual electric line coming in, and I'm just going to double check to make sure that the power is off. These, just like that, be very careful. Just checking. And indeed, the power is off. So I do know it's these two are the primary lines. So no light, and so the power is off. I'm going to just go ahead and put these back temporarily and turn off the water. So the next step is just to turn off the water line. If I can get in here, you can hear water coming down here, and I'm just gonna turn this valve all the way off, and this is the line supplying the water heater. And you can kind of hear things turn off, so that should turn off the water to the water heater. Now there is a valve coming into the water heater here. This is the cold line again, but since I'm going to be reconfiguring this piping, I'm just keeping this open. It's open now, and I turned off the water way down the line, so now all the water on this line is completely turned off. Okay, so now it's time to drain the water, and this is the drain to the tank. I did turn off the power. I have turned off the water to the tank, so those are the first two steps. For this particular water heater, it does have a drain pan and a drain out, so any water that I pour in here should just drain out, and so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to turn that on and let it just drain. If you don't have a drain pan and drain, then you have to connect a hose to this and drain it out outside, or perhaps if you're in a basement, even like buckets, one at a time. So I'm just gonna, this is not in the perfect spot, so hopefully I could just start running it. And you can see it's starting to drip out, and when all the air kind of percolates in, eventually the rate of flow will start increasing. So although the hot water faucets are on in the sinks, it's a little slow, so I'm going to try to open up this hot water connection here and see if we can get some more air in here to help the draining process go a little bit smoother. You could already hear And yes, it's draining faster now. So sometimes just turning on the sinks, the kitchen and bathroom sinks, don't relieve enough pressure. So now it's draining much more rapidly, and we'll just let it drain just like that. So while I'm waiting for it to drain, I went ahead and disconnected the power completely. So absolutely no power to the water heater. And I'm just gonna disconnect these restraining straps. And in the meantime, I'll finish taking off the hot water line and the cold water line over there. Now, if the water is not turned off, you don't want to be doing this because the pressure will just shoot the water out. But already the tank is already partly drained, and so it's fine. Okay, let's review a little bit. Now we disconnected the power, we turned off the water. We drained the tank. We also took off the water connections, both the hot and cold, so those are disconnected. And we took off the restraining straps. So the last thing to do is take off the drain lines. Now these things, you may or may not have these drain lines. Sometimes that you could just unscrew them. These ones we have to cut and then reapply. So I'm just going to take a saw and cut both of these lines. I'm going to cut it off at the joint for now. Okay, so everything's disconnected, so it's time to move the water heater. Now I'm going to do this by myself. You should probably normally get some help doing this, but the insulating pad on the bottom is pretty much stuck to the floor, so I just have to slide the pan, and so I put a board nailed at the base that's about the same height as the insulation pad, so I'll just slide it directly on to the board. And there you go. I just moved back the water heater from the insulation pad. That doesn't really slide very well, so I use these boards that's about the same height to slide it on. And now I just have to redo the plumbing there, do some minor re-plumbing for the drain lines, and those will be the next videos. I hope you join me later. See you next time. Bye-bye.